Hey there guys. So, today is a nice video for you. We'll be talking about Germany. A lovely shot. What a lovely country. So, to begin, we have some cool facts. Alright? The government type is a federal parliamentary republic. Okay? So, it's a parliament, similar to the way that the UK has its government system set up, and France. The difference is that instead of a prime minister, they have a chancellor. As you know, Angela Merkel. She's been in the news recently for various kinds of things. And they also have a president. Now, the equivalent to a chancellor or a prime minister is our president, and their president is our vice president. So, the way it works is the president of the country governs the country, which is what our vice president does, and then the chancellor or prime minister will take care of foreign affairs, similar to what our current president does. Now, of course, they all overlap and do certain things, but that's a government body for you. So it currently includes 16 constituent states, so they're all in one area, and covers about 360,000 square kilometers, about 140,000 square miles. The capital is Berlin, which is also the country's largest city, and the stock exchange for Germany is actually in Frankfurt. They've got about 81 million people as of 2013 statistics, and it's the most populous nation in the EU and has the largest economy in Europe. Yes, it has a larger economy than Russia. Not all of Russia's in Europe. Moving on. Germany has had an interesting history, as most of you would know. Of course, we have whole textbooks telling us what happened. But let's go all the way back to the origins of Germany during the Roman Empire. It was actually originally called Germania, and it was documented to exist about the year 100 CE. And you all most famously know Germania for two things. First, the game, Rome Total War. Second, the fact that they started to move south after hearing about Rome's massive wealth and all that nice stuff. And of course, all roads lead to Rome. So, massive 60,000 man armies could just walk right into the capital. No big deal. And so, the Germanic tribes would eventually lead to the downfall of Rome. Of course. Now, in the 10th century, the Holy Roman Empire, which was the actual empire that existed where modern-day Germany is, split apart. They had a whole bunch of legislative issues, and what ended up happening is the political landscape of Europe became too interwoven and confusing. So they all broke apart into various little states and cities in Central Europe, which was each one was not very strong on its own. And the populace in the region was absolutely massive, and this led to pan-nationalism or PanGermanism, which eventually produced the seeds for unification in 1871, and Prussia would come to dominate the landscape of Central Europe. Now, we need to talk about Napoleon. Mr. Napoleon was an interesting aspect to the landscape of Germany. So, after the fall of Napoleon in 1814, the Congress of Vienna, the German Confederation was signed, which was the loose league of 39 sovereign states. So, this included states like Bavaria, Hanover, Prussia, Westphalia, and Saxony. And so what they did is they essentially signed a de facto Holy Roman Empire agreement. So they all shared different kinds of varying power and military agreements with each other. And the Austrian king at the time was appointed the permanent president of the Confederation because nobody cared about what Prussia had to say. So that just shows you how Prussia didn't like everybody else in the political landscape there. And then for the next 30 years, there were different kinds of chaos that plagued the region because of different kinds of power struggles and who got what and why did he get it and why didn't I get it, and so that was lovely. Then King Frederick Wilhelm the IV of Prussia was offered the title, but he couldn't because he was losing power and his political opponents were gaining power in the region, so it wouldn't have been a good thing. And in 1862, he appointed Otto von Bismarck, which is the man that we would all know of, to create the German Empire as the new prime minister or minister-president of Prussia, which was a kingdom. The king, appointed a prime minister to a kingdom. Now, that's the same as giving Otto von Bismarck a chair, putting him in the corner of the room like this child, and giving him a little set of blocks and have him try to put a square into a circular hole. It's just not going to work. But he has notable accomplishments. He did good things for Germany, or Prussia, whatever you want to call it, while he was there. So he defeated Denmark in 1864, which allowed them access to the Jutland Peninsula, as you now know of modern-day Denmark. And he led Prussia to victory over Austria in 1866, in which he formed the North German Confederation. And what they did is, this is great, they completely just cut Austria out of all German affairs. And so that's why today's day and age we have Germany and we have Austria. We don't have a unified Germany, Austria, or whatever the heck you want to call it. Then he proclaimed the German Empire in Versailles in 1871 after the Franco-Prussian War, which united every part of Germany except Austria. You could say that they didn't like Austria. That's a thing. And Prussia was the dominant state. Now, something you have to know about the early German Empire: it was a empire of united kingdoms. So each kingdom had its own, and it was independently and locally autonomous within the empire. So the Kingdom of Prussia technically existed all the way through until World War II. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Technically, it did. And the Hohenzollern King of Prussia was the emperor, and Berlin became the capital. Now, let's look at some progressions of Germany throughout the years. We start with Prussia, who reached its peak actually in 1815. Now, the Green Territory Prussia would gain back after the defeat of Napoleon. They actually lost that land because of the Napoleonic Wars. Then we have the North German Confederation. As you can see, it's dividing up all the different kinds of states. Now we have the German Empire. That is de facto Germany. That is it. Then we have the Weimar Republic of Germany. So in this map, we can see that the city of Danzig, or modern-day Gdansk in Poland, was actually a free city. It was locally autonomous. And that would actually become a major reason for World War II to break out as well. You can say that World War II happened because World War I was just done so shittily. And then we have modern-day Germany that we know of. And the reason why modern-day Germany looks like that is because, well, they lost a lot of wars. The German people are, yeah, they have a thing. You can, yeah. All right, moving on. Getting rid of the bad man. So in summary, with Germany here, we've got the largest economy in the EU and the largest population. And the Germans are just overall some of the nicest and most diverse people in Europe. There's a lot of Germans that speak great English. There's Germans in West Germany that speak both Dutch and French, as well as English. And in Eastern Germany, they even speak Polish. They speak Czech. They speak the Austrian dialect in the south. They even speak Danish in the north. They're very diverse people. Germany also has one of the largest Turkish minorities in Europe, and that's because they had a worker shortage in the 1950s, 1960s, and so they invited all of these Turks to come from Turkey and settle in the Bavarian region. And now, because of the massive country's wealth, they even own a second property. Most of you know it as the country of Greece. And always, thanks for watching.